So we lost another wrestling legend this past week. Pat Patterson died this past Wednesday. He was 79 years old. I know a lot of people out there, a lot of wrestling fans, when you talk about wrestling, a lot of people love to give credit to the Attitude Era for being the greatest era of wrestling ever. And the argument can be made for that, but that's not what I'm necessarily talking about today. During that era, Pat Patterson had a very prominent role where he played one of Vince McMahon's stooges, himself and Jerry Briscoe, chasing around with McMahon, running around with McMahon, trying to stop Stone Cold or beat up Stone Cold. And for a lot of people who watched wrestling during that time, or who were very naive to the contributions that Pat Patterson made to this industry, or just WWE period, I'm here to give you a quick lesson. Because what we're going to do real quick is put some respect on Pat Patterson's name. First of all, he was the first openly gay professional wrestler. Came out in the 70s. So to even do that after the Stonewall riots is enough to give that man his props. All right. Second of all, he was the first ever intercontinental champion in the WWF. Now, if you grew up like I grew up, the world title, yeah, that was cute, but we all knew, real heads knew that if you get that IC title, like you were official, you was a made man, if you will. You know, some of us were bigger fans of the Intercontinental Champion than we were the World Champion. The belt even looked better, you know? The Royal Rumble was his idea. For a lot of you who look forward to the Royal Rumble every single year, you have Pat Patterson to thank for that. You have him to thank for the fact that you can count down and see returning stars such as Edge, you know, from last year. You have Pat Patterson to thank for that. Responsible for helping the gimmicks thrive, such as The Undertaker and The Rock, and probably many more. He refereed the first ever WrestleMania main event. For all you historians out there, that was Hogan and Mr. T versus Piper and Orndorff. One of the best matches ever. Not only did he referee that match, but he helped book legendary matches such as Hogan and Warrior at WrestleMania 6. I mean, we all know as kids, if you're my age, kids who were torn. We were torn during that match. We didn't know who to go for. It was the first time we ever saw two big faces going head to head for the world title. We didn't know what to think, but it was awesome. And we have Pat Patterson to thank for that. Also, he helped to get smaller guys some shine, you know? You know, we know Vince McMahon is very high up on big dudes, guys who look like bodybuilders and who are, you know, biceps that are as big as their torsos and things of that nature here. But the fact that Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart became heavyweight champions, you have Pat Patterson to thank for that. So yeah, just want to put a little respect on that man's name, Pat Patterson. You will be missed. This show of DYSG is dedicated to you, my friend. Rest on. Ladies and gentlemen, blurds and nerds, freaks and geeks, this is Do You Speak Geek, episode 57. All right, thank you everyone for joining me back on this episode. How was y'all weekend? How was y'all's Thanksgiving weekend? I know mine was pretty legendary. Turkey was amazing. By the way, all my leftovers are gone, as yours should be as well. But yeah, Thanksgiving was dope. I didn't do any shopping on Black Friday or either Cyber Monday, so I'm a little disappointed in myself in that. But yeah, didn't do anything much. I just kind of just chilled, just kind of took it light, as some of you should have probably done as well too. But hopefully your weekend and week was great. Shout out to Spreaker, the home team. It's where you can find the Do You Speak Geek podcast. Please be sure to go there and subscribe, like, and let me know what you think in them comments. Sorry. First of all, let me get back to that. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. If you're a first time listener, welcome. And if you're an avid listener, welcome back. Again, I'm Nix. This is DYSG. Welcome to the ride. Other major podcaster outlets where you can follow this show outside of Spreaker, you can follow us at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Stitcher, kind of a little bit everywhere. So check us out wherever you listen to your podcast. DoYouSpeakGeek.com, the central hub for everything DYSG, is where you can find our blog, you can find our photos, you can find episodes of the show, you can find our videos, social media posts. You can find them there as well too. Speaking of social media, follow us on social media. Facebook at DYSGFB, Twitter at DYSG_tweets, and Instagram at DoYouSpeakGeek. YouTube, the only place where you can find the Dono and Daddy show. We just dropped our last First Friday Fights episode. I picked my favorite superhero ever, Nightwing. Dono picked his favorite superhero ever, Spider-Man. And we kind of went head to head. He at some point Donovan laughed me out of the building. It was okay. I was fine with it. I didn't really think nothing of it. But yeah, that's what happened there. Check that out when you get a chance to. Be sure to subscribe, like, Hulk, smash that bell for all notifications, and leave your comments. We want to know what y'all think. All right, so there was one big story this week, and we got to talk about it. So we're going to get into it right now. We're going to do what we do about this time. Let's speak geek.
Suit up.
I want to be the very best.
Talk nerdy to me.
Are you ready? Okay, people. The big shoe dropped on the movie industry. Warner Brothers is releasing all 2021 movies on HBO Max. Now, the film industry was hit with a big one of the biggest shakeups ever in recent history. Warner Brothers, probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest studio in Hollywood, is heading to streaming. The studio announced on this past Thursday that its entire 2021 film slate will be heading for a premiere on the HBO Max streaming service. The move comes along in the wake of theaters remaining closed and or producing small box office numbers throughout the coronavirus pandemic. With the leading movie that's kind of leading the charge on this thing, which is Wonder Woman 84, I think Warner Brothers took a step back and say, hey, well, if we can do it with this movie, we can do it with all the rest of ours as well too. That way we're not missing any deadlines and we can keep on moving as a studio. And I understand that. Now, these movies include Godzilla vs. Kong, The Suicide Squad, The Conjuring 4, Dune, The Matrix 4, The Little Things, The Many Saints of Newark, Mortal Kombat, Space Jam: A New Legacy, Tom and Jerry, Those Who Wish Me Dead, In the Heights, King Richard, Malignant, Reminiscence, and Cry Macho. Now, HBO has also announced they will be ending their 7-day free trial offers 3 weeks ahead of the Wonder Woman 84 release. So this is the same route that Disney Plus took earlier this year and they released Hamilton. So if you do not have a subscription to HBO Max now, you better go ahead and get your hands on one. Now, this is causing so much ruckus online as film fans share their excitement, but they also fear that it could negatively affect the industry as a whole. Wall Street has had similar concerns as well. Variety reporting that movie theater chains saw rapid declines that could be described as not great and even drastic. IMAX, as far as the Wall Street, dropped 8.5%. Marcus Corporation fell 13%, and Cinemark plummeted 21.95%. The movie theaters are going to be hurting because of this. Now, maybe it's just me, but on top of the fact that when you go to movie theaters, you gotta take out a small loan for popcorn, candy, and a soda. This coronavirus pandemic is really gonna hurt the movie business, possibly forever. I mean, we all knew that going into this pandemic that a lot of things were going to change forever, and this is probably one of those things. But hopefully we can rebound. I mean, I still love going to the theater. I may complain about things, but I still love going to the theater. It's one of my favorite things to do. But yeah, it's kind of rough right now. But this news also raises some concerns for not just moviegoers, but people who watch these movies in the homes. Specifically for people who own Roku devices like myself. Now, for quite a while, reports have suggested that Roku and Warner Media couldn't come to a deal in terms of profit sharing. It seems likely that Warner Media, knowing that the move that they have recently made was a distinct possibility in the post-pandemic landscape, has held off making a deal with Roku for that reason. Now, I think eventually they will go ahead and make a deal. It's going to take some time to process and make that deal, but HBO Max definitely needs to come to some sort of agreement with Roku. That way we can get that application on the Roku devices and be able to stream these movies not only with Wonder Woman but also all 2021 long. By the way, if you have a PlayStation 4 or 5, I think, or if you have a Fire Stick, HBO Max is good to go for you. Overall, this is pretty big news. It's unprecedented, if you will call it that. I think these movies are going to still do well. I mean, from what I understand, they're going to also put them in theaters as well, too, not just exclusively HBO Max. So if you do want to risk it for the biscuit and go see some of these films in theaters, I still wouldn't mind seeing Kong vs. Godzilla in the theater, and even Mortal Kombat for that matter. But I'm not sure what theaters you're going to go see them in, because from the way AMC clapped back at Warner Brothers, they're not showing any of their movies. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's that. So, man, crazy times we live in, right? Let's move on to my favorite portion of the show, Source Wall.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Behold the Source Wall.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends.
There is nothing wrong with reading a story and looking at the pictures.
Enough said, Stan. Let's jump right into the pull list. We got Belle, targeted prey number 1. Belle's life is far from normal, and she knows that. With life hunting and fighting mythical beasts, protecting the world from the darkest secrets they can handle. But what happens when the hunter becomes the hunted? Belle is going to find out that she has made it to the top of the list of one of the deadliest beings to ever exist. And they won't be coming alone. Don't miss the adrenaline-soaked story you have never seen before. This is an indie pick that I loved. It was pretty dope. Art was amazing. Kind of took me back to the 90s and how it looked. Check that one out and get an opportunity to. King in Black, number 1. After a campaign across the galaxy, Null's death march arrives on Earth. And worse yet, he hasn't come alone. With an army of hundreds of thousands of symbiotes, dragons at his command, the King in Black is a force unlike Earth's heroes have ever faced. Eddie Brock, aka Venom, has seen firsthand the chaos that all of Null's symbiotes monsters can wreck. Will he survive an encounter with the god of the abyss himself? We don't know. But King in Black was dope. Please go read that one. I love Null, just saying. We got Batman and Catwoman number 1. At last, Tom King returns to the rocky romantic saga of Batman and Catwoman with his Heroes in Crisis collaborator, superstar artist Clay Mann. Echoing plot points from King's epic Batman run, this sweeping tale is told across 3 timelines. The past, when the Bat and Cat first fell in love. the present, when their union is threatened by one of Batman's lost loves, and the future, where the couple have a happy life and legacy, including their daughter, Helena, the Batwoman. And as the story begins, after a long marriage, Bruce Wayne passes away, which frees Selina Kyle to settle an old score. At every stage of their relationship, Bruce and Selina have an unwelcome chaperone, the Joker. Oh, and the lost love of Bruce's life? It's Andrea Beaumont, aka Phantasm. Just thought you want to know. Good book. Check it out. I didn't spoil too much for you, I promise. And finally, we have Project New Wave number 2. Now, this one is a close personal pick just for your boy Nix. Here's the synopsis. Rand gets a glimpse into the mind of Jason, Project New Wave's leader, giving her some sort of understanding as to who he really is underneath all that armor. Being raised by the armed forces since you're a kid will leave you with many scars. Some heal, some are visible to the naked eye, but some scars never fully heal. This is number 2 of a great book that you all should definitely be reading. You should definitely be keeping your eye on. Project New Wave is dope. Written by my close personal friend, Mr. Manuel Carmona. Shout out to you, bro. If you want to get your hands on this book, please go to theartofmanuelcarmona.com/shop. Pick up that book. Go get number 1. Get your behind over to that website and pick those 2 books up. You definitely won't be disappointed. I promise you. So in Source Wall news, we have the announcement of I Am Not Starfire. DC introduces Starfire's goth daughter in a new graphic novel. DC revealed the first official details of I Am Not Starfire, an upcoming OGN written by Laura Dean and also being done by Mariko Tamaki and illustrated by Zatanna and the House of Secrets Yoshi Yashitumi. The title, which is the first announced back in 2019, will follow Mandy, the daughter of Starfire, as she tries to follow her own path. Now here's the synopsis. 17-year-old Mandy Coriander is not her mother. Daughter of Starfire and high school outcast, Mandy is constantly trying to get out from under the shadow of her bright, bubbly, scantily clad, and famous mother. Dyeing her bright orange hair black and sticking close to her best friend Lincoln, Mandy spends her days at school avoiding Teen Titan superfans and trying to hide her feelings for the gorgeous, popular, and perfect Claire. And while Mandy usually avoids spending too much time with her alien mother, she's been particularly quiet and she's keeping one major secret from her. Mandy walked out on her SAT. While Mandy continues to tell Lincoln her plans moving to France to escape the family spotlight and to not go to college, she secretly hides a fear of not knowing her identity outside of just being the daughter of a superhero who she will become. But when she is partnered with Claire to work on a school project, their friendship develops into something more, and a self-confidence unknown to Mandy begins to bloom. Claire seems to like Mandy for being Mandy, not the daughter of Starfire. But when someone from Starfire's past comes to disrupt Mandy's future, Mandy must finally make a choice. Give up before the battle has even begun, or step into the unknown and risk everything. I Am Not Starfire is a story about mother-daughter relationships, embracing when you come to find your own identity, and learning to be unafraid of failing, if it was failing even in the first place. I think this will be a good book. The one thing not mentioned, which I'm pretty sure that a lot of people would want to know, so Mandy, your mom Starfire, who's your dad? We all have speculations. We all have guesses. We all know who's at top of that list as far as guesses. But you'll have to read the book coming soon. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with more DYSG. All right, y'all, let's watch this.
Watch this, y'all. Thunder. Lannister always pays his debts.
Whoa, dude. I am the villain of the story.
All right, you couch potatoes and you bingers out there, let's get into the TV and movie news. David Ramsey is returning to the Arrowverse. Yay! Ramsey will be showing up in the Arrowverse twice in the upcoming year of Arrowverse stories. He'll be reprising his role as John Diggle, aka Spartan from Arrow, as well as appearing as a new mystery character. I wonder who it could be. Deadline had the exclusive report of Ramsey's next big steps in the Arrowverse franchise. Details state that he'll appear in a total of 5 Arrowverse episodes, 4 as Diggle in the series Superman and Lois, Supergirl, Flash, and Batwoman, with the 5th mystery character showing up in an episode of Legends of Tomorrow. We all know. I mean, whether you saw the Arrow finale or not, I mean, the foundation and the Easter eggs were laid. In this 5th episode, we all know we're going to see that ring light up. We're going to do some ring slinging. And I don't mean Doctor Strange style either. I'm talking about some brightest day, blackest night, if you will. Y'all feel me? But yeah, can't wait to see it. Hopefully it's better than the last Crisis we got. Because I think they really went all in on the guest appearances instead of just story. But that's just me. Don't tell anybody. So, speaking of CW, one of my favorite people in the whole entire world, Miss Ava DuVernay, is developing a DC Comics show for CW. Now, this is going to be based on the character Naomi from DC Comics. Created by Brian Michael Bendis. Among his first creations after joining the ranks of DC, David F. Walker and Jamal Campbell, the character first appeared just last year in her own self-titled series and quickly crossed paths with DC heavy hitters like Superman and the Teen Titans. The character hails from an alternate Earth from our own, sent here to protect it from the madman that destroyed their home world. The logline for the series is courtesy of The Wrap. Naomi follows a teen girl's journey from her small northwest town to the heights of the multiverse. When a supernatural event shakes her hometown to the core, Naomi sets out to uncover its origins, and what she discovers will change everything we believe about our heroes. That's going to be a pretty awesome book. If you guys haven't read the Naomi book, please check that out. It's a pretty decent book. I think she's also crossed paths with Young Justice as well too, so she's a part of that book. Please check that out. And if Ava DuVernay is behind it, I really don't care what it's about. I'm going to watch it anyway because I think she's probably one of the dopest people in the world to me, and also an amazing director. So check that out when it comes to CW. And finally, we have Metal Gear Solid reportedly has cast Oscar Isaac as Solid Snake. Now, Jordan Vogt-Roberts, long in the works of Metal Gear Solid movie, is pushing forward, and Oscar Isaac is reportedly attached to star as Solid Snake. Now, according to Deadline, Isaac, a popular fan choice for the role, is slated to play Solid Snake in Vogt-Roberts' live-action adaptation of the 1998 Konami video game. A script has been written by Derek Connolly, with Avi Arad producing. Vogt-Roberts has been working on Metal Gear Solid since 2017, and the script has been in production since then as well. But with Isaac attached, it appears that Sony Pictures is finally making moves to get production on the long-awaited live-action film started. Now, to me, it's kind of far-fetched. This makes the second project Isaac has been rumored to be connected with. Last month, we also heard that he was going to be Moon Knight in the Disney Plus series. So, until we get some confirmations going here, I believe it when I see it. But, Oscar Isaac as Snake, you know, it might be alright. I'll have to check that one out. Let's jump into Thumb Life.
Peace, love, and video games!
That song like Donkey Kong.
Batman is playing Galaga.
All right, gamers, not a lot of news right now. Let's talk about the Avengers game. Now, Marvel's Avengers has not been doing too well. And it seems like some of the bad luck is continuing because some of the content from the Kate Bishop update is going to also be delayed. Part of Marvel's Avengers Kate Bishop update, scheduled to release on the 8th of December, has been delayed. Crystal Dynamics announced this past week Kate Bishop herself is still coming to the game. But the Omega level version of the Super Adaptoid missions and AIM Cloning Lab missions will take a little while longer to be released. Those two new experiences don't have release dates yet either, but the developer says it hopes to get the missions in the game as soon as possible. Also remember that the DLC for Kate Bishop is going to be free. No purchase of DLC required. Even if it was, Square Enix, you should give it to us for free anyway because we have suffered through this game. But anyways, my opinion, moving on. Immortals Phoenix Rising review. Game was pretty. It was okay. It was good. I think it was all right. It gave us a gorgeous world to explore, filled with mythological beasts, deities, and powers to wield. Its combat is satisfying with plenty of choices and upgrades, while its central characters, comedic tone, and storytelling are a real highlight. Seeing Phoenix's saga through the end with amusing commentary from Zeus, Prometheus, and other gods along the way was a real treat. Its Achilles heel, however, though, is that so much of the puzzle gameplay feels like going through the motions instead of clever challenges. But no less, still a good game. If you haven't gotten your hands on it, go get your hands on that game. It's pretty dope. Let's go geek beyond geek.
What is our universe made of?
Is extraterrestrial human contact.
Yes, science!
All right, nerds. A spectacular thing is going to happen in about 2 weeks. And that spectacular thing is the Christmas star. The Star of Bethlehem, if you will. It's going to be in the sky. It's actually the alignment of two planets, Jupiter and Saturn, which happens every 20 years or so, but it's not always in December, and it's been nearly 800 years. I mean, we're talking Middle Ages since this has happened. But on December 21st, from our vantage point here on Earth, they'll look like they're nearly touching, creating a radiant point of light that's being dubbed the Christmas star, or Star of Bethlehem, for obvious reasons. Making it even more special, December 21st also marks the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, the tipping point where daylight once again starts gaining ground on the darkness. So that'll be fun. First time in 800 years that we're going to see the Star of Bethlehem. I mean, if you're a religious person like me, that's a pretty special thing to see. So please do what you can to make sure you see that. Well, this was fun. I'm gonna go ahead and do what I do about this time and get out of here. Thank you all for listening so much. I appreciate all my fam out there. Thank you all for listening. Please, please, please be sure to like the content, subscribe to the content, follow the content. Let me know what you think about that content. Visit the website doyouspeakgeek.com. Follow us on social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out on our YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe there as well. Live to play to win to live. I speak geek. Do you speak geek?